Hello and welcome to Inyo Pool's how-to guide section. In this video, we will be going over the steps of repairing a diverter valve. Over time, the handle or shaft of your diverter valve may break. If your diverter valves are tightly integrated into your piping system, you may end up replacing multiple valves if one goes bad. Fortunately, most damaged valves can be repaired. This guide shows you how to repair the valve assembly in a diverter valve. Step 1. Order parts. Buy replacement parts ahead of time so you will have them on hand when you need them. Step 2. Turn off power to the pool pump. Step 3. Relieve pressure. Relieve the pressure in the lines by turning the relief valve on top of your filter counterclockwise. Step 4. Remember valve setting. Note the operational position of the valve handle. You will be placing the new diverter valve assembly in the same position. Step 5. Remove handle lock knob. Twist the handle lock knob in a counterclockwise direction to remove it from the diverter shaft. Lift the handle off of the valve shaft. Step 6. Note the position of the inlet label on the valve cover. Inlet is positioned over the valve's common port. When you replace this cover, you will place it with the inlet label over the same port. Step 7. Remove 8 cover screws. Step 8. Pry off valve cover. With the screws removed, you may have to use a small screwdriver or chisel to gently loosen the cover from the valve housing. With the cover loosened, you should be able to lift the valve assembly out of the valve housing. Step 9. Note the position of the diverter paddle relative to the inlet label on the valve cover. You will want to place the new diverter in this position when you reassemble the valve. Step 10. Push out diverter. Push the shaft of the valve assembly down out of the valve cover. Step 11. Remove cover O-ring. Take the larger O-ring off of the edge of the valve cover. Inspect the O-ring for wear or other damage. Step 12. Clean valve cover. Take off any grease or debris on the valve cover with special attention to the edge where the O-ring is set. Wipe any grease or debris out of the center shaft hole. Make sure to remove any old O-rings that may have come off of the valve shaft when it is removed. Step 13. Slide the 2 O-rings onto the top of the shaft of the diverter assembly. Push them down as far as they will go. Note, sometimes the O-rings come already assembled on the valve shaft. Place the cover O-ring on the outside edge of the valve cover and lubricate it lightly with a silicone or Teflon lubricant. Lightly lubricate the 2 O-rings on the shaft. Slide the new diverter assembly shaft up through the bottom of the valve cover. Push the shaft so that both O-rings slide into the hole. Step 14. Rotate the valve assembly to the position of the old assembly as noted in Step 6. Step 15. Insert the valve cover onto the valve housing. Ensure that the inlet label on the cover is over the common port as noted in Step 6 and push the cover down as far as it will go. Step 16. Replace the 8 screws in the valve cover. When you screw them down, alternate the screws across from each other to ensure that the cover seats properly. Manually tighten the final turns on the screws so you don't strip them with the drill. Step 17. Place handle on the valve shaft. It is slotted so that it will only go on one way. Replace the locking knob. Screw it on in a clockwise direction. You have now successfully repaired your diverter valve assembly. If you have any additional questions, please feel free to call us toll-free at 1-877-372-6038 or visit us online at www.inyopools.com.